The essence of Mothering Sunday asks the question, who are you? What is your identity? Who do we identify ourselves as? Who do we identify ourselves with? Our heritage, culture, past history, experiences. How many of us have researched their own family tree or known of others who have done? Identity refers to the sense of self, the understanding of who we are as individuals. It encompasses various aspects, including our personal history, beliefs, values, roles, and social connections. Identity is broken down into constituent parts. Our self-concept is the mental image we hold of ourselves. It includes both our positive and negative qualities, as well as our perception of how others see us. And the core aspect of who we are is our self-identity. It includes our unique characteristics, preferences, experiences. And self-identity can be influenced by cultural, familial and societal factors. We also have our social identity, which refers to the groups we belong to. Nationality, ethnicity, religion, gender, these group affiliations contribute to our sense of identity and influence our behaviour and interactions. But we also construct our identity through storytelling. Our life experiences, memories, and the stories we tell ourselves shape our sense of self. It is when these stories become divorced from reality and we believe the stories over and above the reality, then things go wrong. But this does not mean that identity is fixed, by no means. Identity is actually, paradoxically, to some, dominated by fluidity and change. It is not fixed, it evolves. We adapt to new circumstances, learn from experiences, and redefine ourselves as needed. Mothers have an integral link here, as we all have a biological mother linking us back to our past and so much of that with which we assume is our identity. However, not every single child receives their mother's unconditional love. Birth is a lottery, as no one has any choice, control over what family we are born into and thus how our futures are to be begun. Which is why our identity is fluid and changeable. We cannot stay locked in the past, particularly if that past is harmful. In fact, we need to break away from that past and we need to find within ourselves and receive from others a compassionate mind. Which, if we look at how Jesus described God as a mother hen, is the essence of the stereotypical idea of the perfect mother. In fact, the perfect human. The compassionate mind is a psychological concept developed by psychologist Paul Gilbert. It emphasises cultivating compassion towards oneself and others. The compassionate mind is not just that which given or received, but is also how we treat our own selves. The self needs to receive and give self-compassion. Compassion involves kindness, understanding and acceptance. Self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer to a friend. It involves acknowledging our suffering without judgment and responding with care. With a compassionate mind, there is a reduction in self-criticism and shame, and so enduring enhanced emotional regulation and therefore improving relationships with others, and enabling all this promotes mental well-being. Remember that our identity is multifaceted, and developing a compassionate mind allows us to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and understanding. Which means, for those for whom the biological mother figure is not the compassionate, caring and all-encompassing perfect mother that seems to dominate the Mothering Sunday cards of today, there needs to be a fluidity to find those characteristics in others to support us. And if we are not a mother, to find those same characteristics in ourselves to be that figure to others, for it is in finding that compassionate mind we fulfill our motherhood, in fact we fulfill our humanity. As Jesus said, when his disciples tried to reference him back to his biological family, "Who is my mother? Who are my brothers?" In the Gospel reading, Jesus made John the son of Mary, and it is the people we become that is important, not the bloodline, if that bloodline is a hindrance or perhaps doesn't exist. The story of Moses is a complicated example of motherhood and perhaps in some way explains the rest of Moses' conflicted story as he struggled with his own identity. Position and or bloodline can be important in identifying who we think we are, but a genuine compassionate mind is who we are called to be. And how is that manifested? The practice of unconditional loving kindness to support each other, to build and promote resilience within and without. During his acceptance speech for the Music Icon Award, Lenny Kravitz discussed staying true to oneself and the importance of love, essential elements in the compassionate mind. I kept going back to that word, icon, and it means a lot of things to a lot of people. But to me, he said, it means you've made an indelible mark by being who God created you to be and daring to be different. My music wasn't black enough, it wasn't white enough, it didn't fit nicely inside the box or sound like what was on the radio at the time, he continued. And I turned down the money and the glitzy promises and fame and stardom because I couldn't live with myself doing something inauthentic. An icon to me is someone who inspires and teaches and others to believe in themselves and their direction, whatever that direction is. It's never been about how many records I sell or how many awards I win, he said. It is not about trying to write hits or being calculated or formulaic. It's about enjoying and being grateful for the journey and using the gifts that God gave you. Never follow the trends. Set your own pace. Recognise that the best is right here, right now, right in front of you. Kravitz also had the advice for aspiring artists. Never follow the trends. Set your own pace and recognise that the best is right here, right now, in front of you, he said. That is how we should treat each other. That is how we should treat ourselves. That is the essence of Mothering Sunday.